Second place, you walk out crying. You walk out 700,000 richer, but you walk out crying.
Devastated.
I mean, first place is often twice what second place is in these tournaments. Yeah.
Well, they do one time, but
they do when you're on rounders over and over and over again.
They do every once in a while, Eric, I promise you.
Then they know. Then they know.
Yeah, but you know, what I love about heads-up play, I mean, I really like to play heads-up, is just how it's just you and one other player. And, you know, it just seems like after 10, 15, 20 minutes of heads-up play against that one player, you can really, it's all about reading and it's psychological domination. And it's a form of poker that's like no other, because when you're playing at a table, even like a five-handed table, your attention and the amount of psychological energy that you're putting into your efforts is being spread amongst all your opponents. When you're down to heads-up, you are just trying to dominate one person. You're just trying to figure out one person. It's a really exciting form of poker.
Yeah, I mean, you can really get your opponents exasperated, too, which is really nice. I mean, if you're playing a very dominant game where you're picking those pots up, it's so much, like, if you're at a five-handed table, it's hard to get one player really, really frustrated. When you're playing heads up, it's so easy to get them frustrated and make them just start thinking really poorly and making really bad plays and just committing themselves in bad spots because they're just frustrated and they don't know any other way to beat you anymore.
Well, guys, thanks for letting us get inside your head, at least for a few minutes. We appreciate it. Thank you. We are coming back with much more on FSN right after this.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Harmon. Reading players is a very important aspect in poker, so I just want to give you a pointer. Sometimes when a player bets very strong and far, it means that subconsciously their chips are going away from them and they might be bluffing, as opposed to a person who is like betting close to them. It means subconsciously that the money's coming back to them. So betting far and strong sometimes is a bluff, and betting close to you means they have a big hand. So this is actually a tip that works for me, so maybe it'll work for you too.
Coming up, he is the bad boy of poker, and now you'll see why.
I'm still steaming.
Phil Hellmuth explodes when Learn from the Pros continues.
Were you proud of that play or what?
No justice at all.
Welcome back. We continue to learn from the pros with Phil Hellmuth, and time right now to go behind the poker face, where we really take you inside the hand, see what was going on inside this guy's mind. In fact, you wrote about this particular hand in one of your books?
Yeah, in Bad Beats and Lucky Draws, and it was just such a huge hand for me emotionally that I'm going to try not to mess this up. Are we ready to show the hand?
Yeah, we are. I hope you're ready for it. All right, let's show you what's going on.
Okay, I've just been drawn to this table. There's 27 players left. Earlier in the week, I just finished third at a big World Poker Tour Championship event on a Sunday, and now we're playing on Friday. And I'm really in stroke. This is 2003. I'm winning every event in sight, and I'm on television all the time. I just call 1,000 with ace-3. It's my first hand. I don't want to come in raising.
Sure. There's
our friend Phil Gordon and TJ Cloutier.
Well, here comes the flop.
Okay, now I just called 1,000 before the flop, and now I'm thinking, oh, there's a decent chance ace-high is the best hand, which it is. So let me go ahead and bluff 3,000, semi-bluff it. And now TJ, who's flopped an open-ended straight draw, he needs a queen or an 8, calls. There's an ace. Now TJ reads me as being weak on the flop, and that's why he bets out when the ace comes off.
Seems nice and calm, thanks to the heart monitor.
Well, he's betting, he's going to bet, what, 15,000? 15,000. Now I'm studying him right now, and right away I sense he's weak. I've been waiting 3 years to call TJ in a situation. I've been waiting 3 years for this, to pick him off when he's bluffing. All right, a 3 on the end. Now it makes me aces and 3s, but it's a terrible card.
He's hit his flush.
He's hit his flush, but meanwhile, here's the interesting thing about he doesn't know he's made the flush. All right, he thinks he's bluffing right now.
What do you mean he doesn't know he's hit the...
He thinks what, you just watch the commentary here. Now, TJ thinks he's bluffing. He thinks he has nothing. And he's bluffing off his money, and I've been waiting 3 years to kind of make a great call against TJ. I don't know exactly what I see. Maybe the way he has his hand up at his mouth, maybe we put the chips in. But at this point, I'm telling myself, you got to make the call. So he said, so I call. He says, "You've won, Phil."
Well,
so I flip up my hand.
Let's see what happens.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot I had the 10 of spades.
Oh, God.
I forgot I had the 10 of spades. I never even looked back.
I saw it.
I saw it. I didn't.
I couldn't say anything. I'm looking. I'm saying, is he gonna lay this down?
I never even looked
Wow,
back.
TJ.
I knew I had 10-9. I didn't look back.
Right here.
Yeah. I knew I had a double middle buster straight and never looked back. I never looked back. Slow rolled you. You ever see me?
So now you are accusing him of slow rolling. What is that?
Well, slow rolling is really bad etiquette. It's when you bet out on the end, and you have the best hand, and you don't show it right away. But in fact, I've never seen TJ slow roll. In 10,000 hands in his life, he told me he's never overlooked a hand like this. Now, so what happens is he makes a bluff. I make a great read. I call him. He says, you got it. I flip my hand up. I'm waiting for the pot to be pushed. He's mumbling on his breath. I knew you didn't have anything on the flop, which is true. He thinks he has a red 9-10 in his hand where he's ended up with nothing, 10 high. And he's moaning and groaning about how I knew you had nothing. And all of a sudden he sees he has a flush. And he flips his hand up. And I'm like, oh, my God, I waited 3 years to call him, read his body motions perfectly, and he accidentally had a flush and discovered it as he's moaning and groaning. So meanwhile, I fell off the chair. I'm lying on the ground like this.
He's gone away.
I'm like this. I'm lying down on the ground going, you got to be kidding me.
Phil, come home.
You know, and TJ is, you know, and I come back to the table and I say, you slow-rolled me. And he said, no, I didn't, Phil. You've known me for 15 years. You know I didn't see the hand. And he didn't. So it was just one of those weird things where you read someone perfectly, you do everything right, and then he accidentally finds a flush on the way to the muck. It was really, really brutal.
Hours of therapy.
Well, I'm going to have the chip lead with 27 players left. I'm obviously on a roll in 2003.
As you can see, he's over it.
I'm
by
still
now.
steaming.
Only 2 years ago, so it's okay. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll put a wrap on it after this.
Up next, grab a deck and set the VCR. The magician is teaching the one-handed shuffle.
So even if you can't play with the pros, at least you can look like a pro.
Learn from the Pros is back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back to Learn from the Pros, presented by FullTiltPoker.net. And look, I don't know about you, but this is about the only cool thing I can do at the poker table, and it's really not all that special. But here's some really cool stuff, like tricks of the trade.
Hello, my name is Antonio Sfandiari, and I'm a professional poker player. They call me the Magician. You want to learn that? How about this? Or this? I'll teach you. Do you ever want to know how to shuffle a deck with only one hand? I spent a lot of time practicing and learning it, and today I'm going to teach you. Well, basically, you want to have the deck in this position. You want to take your index finger, cut into the deck about halfway. Cut, use the gravity to drop the other half, come around, catch. You want to get that side by side. Now you have the ability to move the decks, so you have a little control here. You want to line up the edges. So now you're in this position, and then you have to kind of push them in together, which will take some practice. Now you're in this position, you want to take your index finger, push down, create the pressure that you need, let go, and the cards shuffle, just like that. And there you have it, the one-handed shuffle. Good luck, because you're going to need it. This one took me about 3 months of practicing every single day before I could do it.
Stick around. We're back with our All-Star Roundtable when Learn from the Pros continues.
FullTiltPoker.net presents Learn from the Pros. Brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Learn, chat, and play with the pros.
Coming up next week on Learn from the Pros, an all-star cast stops by the Fox Poker Room. Helmuth, Negreanu, Gordon, Greenstein, and Gowan all share their insights to make you a better poker player. Plus, you will not believe what Chris Ferguson has up his sleeve. Pull. Learn how he does that next week. Check your local listings for the time in your region.
All right, before we get out of here, we want to thank our pros who are still having a great time. Annie Duke, superstar. Still laughing. I know, that's all right. That's what I'm going to nickname you.
Embarrassing.
But it's great. That's good to make you laugh and have fun. That's all right. Thanks for joining us. Ted Forrest, same with you. Robert Williamson III, thank you very much. And by the way, if you want to test your skills against Eric Seidel or Howard Lederer, just a click away, FullTiltPoker.net. Now, Ted, I'm curious, with poker so much on TV these days, who's the one guy you really enjoy watching? Not as far as like playing poker, but just like going nuts.
Well, I'm not sure. It is a no-brainer. I'm not sure how much I enjoy watching him, but Mike the Mouth Matiso is the guy that you have to just wonder about with him going so crazy on TV.
Watching a train wreck every time.
You guys sit home and laugh at that?
Yeah.
You guys just laugh at that?
Oh, it's
hilarious. I can't help it.
Last year with the whole thing where he was like crying in the aisles, and they're just sitting there going, "Oh my God, I'm so glad I thought, I can't believe I'm subjecting myself to this because I like try to avoid being at the table with it. Now I'm actually purposely watching it on TV. Oh my God.
I'll tell you what.
Having competition for Phil Helmuth too. It's gotta be tough.
So beat.
It's got to be tough.
It's not even close.